Time it is? All right, so if y'all can start the live stream, and Donte Johnson, can you come out here? Come on. So I have a treat for y'all. So we about to start the live stream, and we're gonna have a talkback featuring Mikel and 2 other Black-owned businesses. If you can't stay for it, that's totally fine. You're more than welcome to leave. But my nephew, Donte Johnson, he is a breakdancer. He beatboxes. He does a lot. So he's gonna give you a show, but I just need to get my phone so I can play the music. Pam, you got my phone? So definitely you can get this on the live if y'all haven't started already. What song you wanted to hear? Huh? Okay. Can y'all hype him up though? Can y'all give him some little applause? By the way, he performed at my talent show in 2019. I gotta ask my mama what the song called. Hold on. Y'all ready for this? You said what, Ma? Let's go, Donte. Let's get it. That was great. All right, so if we can get our panelists to come up, we're going to get this talk back started. Mikel, Tonda, and Corey. Brad, are we just going to pass the mic, or do I need to get mic'd up? Either way works for me. Cool. Are we live? All right, cool. So, hey everybody, if you're joining us live on Carvd N Stone's Facebook, my name is Nyesha Stone, and again, this is Carvd N Stone, your weekly source of positive news. Right now, we're about to start our talkback for our documentary Blossom featuring Milwaukee Black businesses. So I took some notes so I wouldn't mess up. And I'm going to introduce the people. All right, I'm going to start on my left. Would it be all right? Whatever. So, on our left, we have Tonda Thompson. She is the owner of Slangs Wood. Yes. She has her son, so she gonna be back and forth. Y'all know how it be. My nephew, he be acting up sometimes. But speaking of her son, the reason she started Slangs Wood was because her son somehow broke their coffee table. So she was trying to do some research and trying to find her own. And she couldn't find the one that she wanted, so she decided to learn her own, and she found a YouTube video of a woman building a table out of wood. So she said, that looked easy, and so she did it. And so she made herself a table, and she posted it on social media, and then I think within like a week, few days, she got 10 orders, and that's how Slangs Wood started. She is also the owner of Vogel Dreams Production, which offers photography and videography, and she also teaches the youth confidence through modeling and storytelling. She's also a model. Cool. And she a mama, duh. My bad, y'all. I ain't got no kids, so I'll be forgetting that. And then in the middle, no, in the middle, second to left, we have Mikel, who you all just met. If y'all could just clap it up for her. So I met Mikel, I think right when she started Floral, I believe, but I had interviewed her for Carvd N Stone, and ever since then I've been following her journey. I saw that she opened up her brick and mortar. We had both got a grant from the Pfizer, so when I had the opportunity to give someone a platform, I thought she would be the perfect person for this. So yeah, give it up for her one more time. Last but not least, we have Corey Fells. We'll be clapping up for him. Like Tonda, Corey is a man with many hats. He's an advocate for improving and connecting people to mental health resources, specifically Black men. Through Black Space, Corey and his co-founders hold free therapy sessions at no studios. Corey is also creative and one of the many local entrepreneurs who is helping build the city up. Okay, cool. Unlike traditional talkbacks, people always usually get the questions beforehand. No, not with me, because I feel like that's cheating and y'all get too much time to think on y'all questions. But I'm also not the Johnny List that's gonna be all in y'all business. So for this talkback specifically, it's about Milwaukee businesses and how they're thriving, but also the impact of COVID. So one of the first questions I have for you all, when COVID first hit and whatever you were doing at the time, what were you thinking? What were the steps for you to move forward, especially when it comes to business?
First, I want to say thank you for having me on here, on the stage here, talking to everybody. Listen, Blossom, you got another subscriber coming, okay? Thank you. It's a blessing to see you thrive on King Drive. Okay, and as well as Nyesha, thank you. In the beginning of the pandemic, I'm a videographer too, so whoever filmed this, I didn't catch the credits. I love y'all. I'm a videographer too. So I was doing the video work, and the pandemic hit, and it was like, what are we gonna do to make some money? Everything shut down. I had about 5 video projects that was, and this was before we switched over to doing live streaming. And when that happened, I was like, go to Jeff. I sent everybody to Jeff because I didn't understand the live streaming stuff. I knew how to do, editing and all that, but live streaming wasn't my thing. And I just was like, I don't know what to do. And then the unrest happened. This is around the time when my son broke the table. And I'm like, we're in the house all the time. We don't know what to do. We just sitting around the house like, look, I got to fix this. So I got to fix, you got to do some new trimming, put the new cabinet. Like, we just thinking about this stuff because we sit in the house all the time. And I didn't have access to, none of us had access to going to like a furniture store or anything. So that came around the time of me watching YouTube, and my son is he's just being Jelani right now. So the thing came about being a carpenter is I'm struggling to talk because during the unrest, I am a racial justice fighter, right? And I'm known in this community for fighting racial justice. And when the unrest happened, it was like, finally y'all see that we got to do something. finally that this is about to happen. This is my moment to fight, right? But I was so tired of fighting at that time. And I was like, listen, we got these young people. I feel like, I need to sit down somewhere. And I literally was, I got all these requests to build tables. And I was in my garage the whole time building tables. Through the unrest, we've been protesting this whole time. But I was like, let me just go build a table in my garage. And I just turned the TV off and everything. I started building. I built tables, I built everything. It changed my life. Slangs would change my life. I never, ever thought I'd be a carpenter. I never thought I would have 8 different saws in my garage. I never thought that I will own a building on 1st and Burleigh now called Valley Creative Collective. Thank you, Alderwoman Cox. Slangs would change my life. I've been on the Kelly Clarkson show. My son has been known as the person that stands on the table and breaks table, and his mom fixed the table. But that time during the pandemic gave me time to heal and to be the leader that I'm supposed to be and to make a difference in my community, for me to step up. And it gave me a chance to see that, okay, we got these young people that's coming behind us, and they're about to set things straight. I know y'all ain't afraid. I know y'all the generation under me is not afraid of anything. And I'm behind y'all. So this pandemic gave me a chance to sit back and heal so I could step up and be what this community needs and to help create these avenues, these venues, these whatever, develop whatever you need and give you what you need to succeed. So that's what the pandemic did to me. I'm sorry, I'm a long-winded talker. I'm gonna get this away.
Well, first I would like to thank Nyesha and Carvd N Stone for putting this all together. I mean, I know it's your first documentary. You guys did an amazing job. It's not easy to film a documentary, so I feel like Nyesha, Carvd N Stone needs a round of applause for putting this all together. And thank you, Alderwoman Cogs, again, for getting us this venue. Yeah, I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful that 401 Floral, my business, had the opportunity to be featured in this documentary. It's a big deal for us as well. It's our first documentary, too. And yeah, I guess when I first found out about the pandemic, I was in shock and kind of in denial. I was like, no, this isn't really happening. I don't know, I didn't really think that it would turn into such, a global thing that it did. And yeah, at the time I was working 2 jobs. I had a full-time job and a part-time job, and I was also creating arrangements at my kitchen counter, which you guys heard about. And I think the pandemic gave me a chance to take a pause, kind of like what Tonda was saying. It really forced me to pause and kind of look at my life and look at how things were going in the world and really make a decision on what I wanted to do going into this new normal and this new chapter of my life in the world. And it was a very challenging time, not only for myself, for small businesses, but I feel like a lot of good did come out of that time. Having this business and connecting with the community in the way that I have has been truly amazing, and I know that it wouldn't have been possible if all of this didn't happen. So although, it's been very chaotic and it's an unprecedented time, I definitely am very, very grateful for the community support and just the outpouring of love that I've received, not only from friends and family, but complete strangers. There's a room full of people here who came to see this documentary, and to me, that's very powerful. So thank you all.
Hi. Well, once again, I want to continue the trend of thanking Nyesha for inviting us and also creating the space, and also Alderwoman Cox for helping Nyesha. At the top of COVID, there was a lot of things that just happened. So imagine at the time I was working at a Black-owned business called Leaders Igniting Transformation, and the one thing that we pander ourselves on is actually being hands-on in the community and physically being in there. So taking that, stripping that away, and telling everyone now you have to work with the community, but through a virtual setting. So many people don't have computers. So many people don't have internet. So that was just mind-boggling on me still having to do my job and being able to do that and trying to figure out how to circumvent these certain ways. So unbeknownst to a lot of people, we still met with people, but we had to keep it on the low. But outside of that, I was just getting out of the military after being in the military for 8 years at the top of COVID and being told by the military, you're not going to find any type of sustainable jobs anywhere. Imagine being told that, and then you're seeing the downpour of a lot of people losing jobs left and right. So I wanted to create something a little bit more sustainable for myself, but also wanted to create something for Black and brown people throughout the country. So at that time, my supervisor, who's also kind of like a big brother to me, he sat and looked at me and said, hey, you look stressed via a Zoom call. And that's something to be told, you look stressed via Zoom. So when that happened, he was like, I have a therapist that you can speak with and talk to. She's a Black woman. I think she's super dope, and I think you can be able to translate with her very well. I've had therapy sessions in the past, and I've always kind of been hugely leery of those because I can't tell somebody all my business. In the Black community, you can't tell somebody all your deepest secrets. but I gave it a try. After each session, I started to kind of lower this like proverbial wall that I had with her. And I also kind of felt very vulnerable, but it felt like very cathartic. And I was really kind of, happy about it, but I didn't really tell anyone. I kept it on the low to myself until I think I went out for the very first time around friends and people and everything like that. And I kind of understood after 10 to 12 sessions, that's what it's for. It's for me to be able to know how to communicate with many different people, from work to personal relationships to intimate relationships, and being able to know how to convey what I'm feeling and how I'm feeling and how to cope with, I'm not the biggest person when it comes to being around crowds. So I got that interconnected coaching with her. She's super amazing. Me and her can text very easily, and that's how I went from there. After that clicked to me, then I told all my friends and all my guys, you need to go to therapy. All that stuff you've been telling me about, you need to go to therapy. And I connected with a good friend of mine by the name of Darius Smith, who was a big advocate for a lot of social unrest that goes on in the city. And he was like, well, Corey, how about we do these type of therapeutic group sessions for Black men, women, and LGBTQIA individuals? And we went from there, and we actually first stop was my personal therapist, and I said, hey, can we do this? And because of that, me and her kind of ended our relationship so that we can be able to do this for more or less the community, because there'll be that conflict of interest. But after that, she said, this is going to be something that you probably you didn't prepare yourself to kind of really, work and kind of do. And lo and behold, she was kind of right. She said this is going to be a lot bigger than what you expect. I think about 2 or 3 months after we did our first group session, we got hit up by a producer from the Today Show featuring Carson Daly and said, hey, we would love to feature you guys. From there, then we got the partnership with Medical College of Wisconsin. And then after that, Drew Holiday and Lauren Holiday had a fund that we were able to get a considerable donation from. There's a woman in West Allis that hit us up and said, hey, I want to fundraise for you guys and just give you guys all that money. And then after that, we just got a recent partnership with AmFam, Brewers Family Foundation, and also the Milwaukee Art Museum, where they're going to allow us to be able to utilize the museum after hours to be able to have the group sessions. So I know I'm also very long-winded, but after that, that really kind of settled, or kind of pushed to me saying like, hey, Black and brown people in the city of Milwaukee have not experienced group therapeutic experiences or just like that group sessions because we have so much bottled in. And I knew that from 2020, it really, really showed its head. From other organizations such as Black Girl Therapy, which thrived throughout the 2020, which is good, good and bad, because it showed the demand is extremely high, but the supply is very low. So from there, Black Space is kind of like used 2020 as a benchmark to really understand like there's a lot of social unrest and a lot of individuals that are directly and indirectly impacted by that need someone to talk to.
I'm sure all of y'all watch the news, and I'm sure when y'all turn on the TV, y'all gonna see the Stolies. Y'all gonna see the Kid Boys. Y'all gonna see death. You gonna see drugs and just everything negative about the city. So what you just heard from was 3 successful Black Milwaukee native entrepreneurs from the city, and they're giving back to the city. And that's one thing I really want people to take that are here and that are watching the live back. The live stream is that we are doing it and we are fixing our city. Mass media and even local media does not cover that. But in this room alone, if you're an entrepreneur, full-time or part-time, stand up. Y'all can't see in this room, but more than half the room stood up. Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever. And it's in the city of Milwaukee. Thank y'all for standing up. Shout out to my friends. Y'all know who y'all are. Naturally Beautiful, Hustler. We got Justin Gordon Photography. We got Casty. She is the graphic designer. She is so freaking dope. We have a lot of other people in here, so I appreciate y'all coming. So just to stay on the topic of just being Black in Milwaukee, What do you have to say to the people that never even been from Milwaukee, only watching news stuff, and say, like, there's no potential in this city?
I want to, shout out to Alderwoman Cox, because she highlights the potential in this city. And if it wasn't for you, I tell you this all the time, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even be sitting in this space. She's my friend, she's my confidant, but more importantly, she provides these opportunities for young people like all of us to thrive. And we need leaders like Alderwoman Cox throughout the city. And, it's kind of hard to spread her around. But we need more like her, and we do have more like her, but she's the pillar that my son is she being my babysitter right now, y'all. This older woman is my babysitter right now. Thank you. It is because of her I'm able to, thrive. And I'm passing that on to Justin. What Malele is giving me, I'm passing it to Justin Gordon. And I'm working with Justin Gordon, showing him the game as a videographer and photographer. I'm saying, hey, this is your game now. This is your ball game. This is your torch now. And that's what Alderwoman Cox told me. Like, when you get to that point, you pass the torch down. She tells me that all the time, and I do it all the time. So we have powerful leaders like Alderwoman Cox that are lifting and creating a pathway for us to thrive. And we need more people to do what she's doing in the city. And I also had to give a shout out to Brother Mike, because if it wasn't for Mike McGee, I wouldn't know Alderwoman Cox. I wouldn't know Lena Taylor. So I have to shout out to those individuals that made that path for me to be here. So there's a lot of young people that are coming after me already, in their 18, 19, 20 years old. I'm 34, I don't look like it. I'm 34 years old, but there's a lot of young people that has a lot of fire and passion, and we have to make that pathway for them. And what's happening right now is that the media is so saturated, and they're telling the wrong stories, as you mentioned, and as you are making a way yourself to show those positive stories. We have to create those avenues for us to thrive as people. And we have to turn the TV off and say, we're going to do this work for real and make real changes in our community, and show up on the doorsteps and say, we are here to make a difference, and we are here to make a change. We don't care what they saying over there, what they doing over there. We're going to create these avenues for our own people and show up and show out. And I think that's what's happening right now. And I think that we are getting more in tune with who we are as people, and we're listening to a higher power saying that, okay, we got to do this to make this work. And we got to continue to stay focused on that inner self and do the work in this community. Turn the TV off, turn the news off. I have a lot of friends that are in media. Turn it off and make some powerful choices to work in our community, and to be a beacon in our community, to be on First and Burleigh, say, look, we finna change this community. You ain't about to come in here and do whatever you want to do in this community, because I'm right here. And you're not gonna do what you want to do. We have to be that to every corner in the city of Milwaukee.
Yeah, I think to echo what Tonda said, to say that there's no potential in Milwaukee is simply untrue. We're all here right now. We're celebrating and supporting Blossom, which was put on by a Black-owned business. We're featuring Black-owned businesses here. All these people just stood up and said, that they're either entrepreneurs or working towards that. So I think, for people to say that, they're simply not really looking hard enough, because there's a lot of potential in this city.
One thing about the Midwest, and Milwaukee specifically, Black people are gonna hustle. They're gonna find a way to be able to pay that bill, or make sure that they're gonna have food on their plate. And so just literally this room that stood up full of like Black and brown people owning businesses or being a part of like whatever they want to be able to create, it's just a manifest of like our ancestors and our fathers and our grandparents and many of other people that came well before us, that wanted to make sure that we had this like carved and a piece of pie or whatever in Milwaukee to make it our own. I was given an opportunity by 2 Black-owned businesses to tell me how to run my own business. The first one being Leaders Igniting Transformation, which is owned by a guy that's the same age as me, and had a budget of $6 million for a nonprofit, was unheard of. Then I transitioned from that business over to another business owned by John Ridley. If you're not familiar, he wrote for 12 Years a Slave and won an Oscar for that film, and he owned a business that's not too far away from over here in the downtown area, and he trusted me on how to run it and how to expand it outside of just only Milwaukee, but outside the state of Wisconsin. So from those 2, I took that knowledge and kind of like invested into myself, and I make sure whenever I do business, if I need a videographer, I got to make sure that person's Black or brown. If I need a person that's an accountant, I need that person to be Black or brown. Any type of job that I have or I need services done by somebody, I make sure to pay that forward economically. I make sure I pay that forward through the knowledge that I have, and I make sure I pay that forward for a person that just wants to have some advice or just wants to sit down and kind of look at what I'm doing.
So as y'all all know, I'm a journalist and I can ask a million questions, but I would like to open it up to the public. If you have a question, just stand up, and it's quiet enough for y'all to be able to ask it out loud. So if you have a question, you can just stand up. If not, I'll move on. Anybody have a question? Okay, I'll keep asking. Y'all sure? Okay, y'all look quiet today. That's cool though. What advice would you give to the people in the room, to the people on live, just anybody that was able to come across this when it comes to keeping you at the front of your business? Because I know a lot of times we lose ourselves in our business and we become our business, and that's a big issue I'm dealing with now. So how are you able to still be a human being and then a business owner second?
You ask that one more time? Like, what's the, like,
Creating a business balance.
Yeah, how do you keep that balance? So how are you able to stay true to who you are and still do the things that you want, still be you, and then still also be able to run a business, especially with the pandemic that we're going through?
Well, I just coined this hashtag called Boss Up Lil Dusty. It's a great time to use it, right? You know, I got that from being in my garage dusty, you know, and I go in the mirror like, dude, you real dusty right now. Like during the pandemic, I'm going through this healing process like, you dusty, like you just always dusty. And I started saying, okay, boss up, little Dusty. Like, you know, wipe the dust off my hair. Like I had locks, shaved my hair off. Like, okay, boss up. Like shave the locks off. You know, wash my face. Like boss, look in the mirror and just say, look, show up, show out. Every day, every time that when that grant doesn't get approved, just look in the mirror and say, boss up. If it didn't work out, somebody else would say yes. I learned that as a motto. Like when I was in LA, I went to agency to agency to agency. They said, no, Tonda, your head is too big. No, Tonda, your waist isn't small enough. No, Tonda, you're too short. But that one agency said, Tonda, you're the most beautiful person I've ever seen, and we want to put you on this runway. Somebody gonna say yes. Somebody's gonna accept you for who you are, but you gotta accept you for who you are first before anybody can tell you anything about who you are. So every day, we worked with this building all year. I went after this building in January. I had $0. Zero. I was in a negative 10,000 probably, you know? And I looked at myself. I said, boss up, little Dusty. I would go to the building on First of July. I would dust it off. I said, boss up, little Dusty, because you raggedy right now. If y'all know what the building looks like now, the old 311 corner store, yes, it's dusty. I would say, boss up, little Dusty, to that building. And I started manifesting things. You start speaking it. You're going to be great. I'm great. I'm going to stand great. And I want to look great. You have to walk into that greatness walk into that manifestation. Speak it on your life, speak it on your building, your kids, everything. But you got to start here first and speak that prosperity in your heart, in your life. She told me to say how much I raised. We raised $400,000.
That's incredible. Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. I think something that's helped me is having clear boundaries, with my business and what's my business and my personal time. It's definitely been very challenging going from working like a 9-to-5 job where, you're clocking in and out. Entrepreneurship has been 24/7. Constantly getting emails, doesn't matter the time. I still get the alerts on my phone, and my first instinct is usually to answer it. But I've really been trying to work on being intentional about when I leave the shop, I'm out of the shop. And I think one thing that's really helped me is really leaning on my friends and family, and having that quality time with them is something that really refreshes me. Without them, I really don't know if I would be able to keep going, because entrepreneurship, as great as it is, it can be very isolating. You can feel like you're on an island sometimes. So really having that close support system has been something that really has propelled me to keep moving forward with my business and keep showing up every day and being there for my customers and the community. And one self-care thing that I do all the time is get my nails done. I love getting gel manicures. Everyone always wonders how I can have my nails done and be a florist. I don't know, it just works out. But that's something too. Just finding little ways to treat myself has been very helpful.
So I help run Black Space with two other colleagues who are also co-founders, and Dr. Leah Knox, and Darius Smith. So they help me out immensely. Each of our roles are different. Dr. Knox is the therapist. I do all the business-related things and business development, and Darius is the social advocate for Black Space. But for me, I also work a full-time job on top of that, and promise y'all, I have nothing else to do. I don't do anything else. But recently, I tried to create that balance by going to an adult basketball league. So that's every single Wednesday. That forces me to stop at a certain time, eat, change my clothes, and get ready to play basketball. And after that, I'm physically exhausted, and I go to lay down and go to sleep. I was never that kid in college that would pull an all-nighter. I did not care. If I was a little tired, I'm going to go to sleep, and I'll wake up the next day and finish out the rest of my studying. So I always had that type of balance, but I'm making sure that I really enforce that. There's hobbies that I love outside of business or doing anything for work, which is Spider-Man over there. I know Spider-Man's coming out this Friday. I'm excited about seeing that, but I'm really interested in movies. I love hanging out with my friends, and I love the residuals that I get from working, that I get to be able to provide nice gifts for my little cousins. I'm able to do some things for myself that, like, okay, I wouldn't been able to afford this if it wasn't for the fact that I took that ingenuity and made it as something that kind of like produced more things for me.
So for me personally, I'm still going through it. I be at home in my apartment just working, and there be times I just don't go outside, and I'll just sit there. My mama call me like, "What you doing?" I be like, "Working." And I'll call you later. I don't call her back because I just still be on the laptop. Then I get on my phone and do some research, like what's gonna be interesting, what's this. And so right now, what I'm trying to figure out is, what do I actually really enjoy in life? What do I really want to do? Because like I know I'm a gloat a little bit. I know I'm killing this as a business owner. I could do a little bit better, but I focus so much on Carvd N Stone. I'm 25. I started at 20, so that's half of my 20s already. So I want to be a millionaire by 30, but it's like if I were to die today, am I happy with my life? And for the last couple of months, I just been sitting in my house and working, which is cool, but I didn't work this hard just to be sitting in my house. So it's figuring out, actually telling my friends, like, can y'all please come get me out the house? Like, please, because I'm not going to physically leave if we don't do something. I'm going to sit here, and then when I'm out, I'm like, damn, I just spent $26.18 on these drinks. That mean I know I owe this person, like being a business owner, and it look good on the outside. You know, you got the documentary, you got the venue, but honestly, learning how to budget, learning how to get the funding, making sure people pay you, making sure you get these deals is actually really hard. Shout out to my family. I don't be having the money all the time. I can't feed myself all the time, but they, they have me. My friends have me. I can come over, Alice, she be like, you hungry? And she'll feed me. My granny, my mama, I just show up and they be like, whatever. And so I call my dad. I be crying to him all the time. I cry to him like yesterday, day before yesterday. So I'm gonna cry a lot, and now I've been trying to reach out to my friends and family, like Mikel said, learning that you can't do it all alone. So I don't know if Pam is still here, but shout out to Pam. She has, she still works for us, whether she say so or not, but she was the intern, she's a writer. She's been a huge part. She came in today, she was just coming to see the film, and I was like, I need somebody to help volunteer, and shout out to Ethan. He came out to help me. We went to college together, so just really depending on my colleagues, my mentor, just people like Alderwoman Cox. I always say Alderwoman. So annoying. But anyway, just depending on people. But it is really hard. I don't know if any other entrepreneurs or just people in general, like, we can't go outside, and if you do, you just scared. You don't know. It ain't nothing to do sometimes. I've been trying to get in Brownstone. You need to be 27. I'm 25. Like, I just want some buffalo dip. But I do have one last question for you all, and this is how I end all of my interviews when I interview people. When people watch this Talkback, and whether they're watching it right now, what do you want them to get from it?
I want people to see the perseverance of Milwaukee. No matter what is being told, we're still standing strong. Well, whatever people think, whatever people say, you have some strong people here in the city that's making a real difference. And the perseverance, we're going to keep rising. We're going to keep doing great things. You mentioned your situation. I can see Carvd N Stone being like this very powerful, journalistic entity in the future, not even in the future. You're already there, But the perseverance of who we are and what we are accomplishing. Don't listen to the negative stuff. We see the positivity here. So just remember that.
I think that I would like folks to see that small businesses are the heartbeat of the community, and that without small businesses, it's pretty difficult for a community to thrive. Small businesses and entrepreneurs add so much value and are very important, and so I hope that whoever's watching this goes out and supports whatever small business is in their area.
I'm gonna echo the same sentiments. Definitely make sure like you're taking the extra step of figuring out, where can I get my floral arrangements from? And then you go to Walgreens or Pick and Save where they have half dead flowers and the water is moldy and everything like that. Take that extra step to say, I'd rather spend that same $15 to $30 at a Black-owned business, because then that cycles through the community much better, because then Mikel is probably taking that extra step to say, hey, I'm gonna spend that $13 at another Black or brown-owned business, and it travels a lot better. It's that extra step that takes a big effect in economics for Black and brown businesses. Mentors are definitely huge and helpful. Rennell Washington, he's here, and I'm just seeked mentorship from him from my professional world to how to just be like a upstanding Black man, because I admire what he does. And then just kind of going on from there. I think I am rambling right now, so am I getting back on topic? But aside from that, no one's meant to support you at the very beginning. Like, you are supposed to care about it way more than anyone else. The neighborhood isn't going to show out and show up. It's not going to be 50 people or 100 people at the very first event. It's meant for you to understand that this is a slow process that's going to build up more and more, because that one person that's seen your show or been your first client, that's going to build up to 2 the next time you do something, so on and so forth. And that slow build is more genuine, way more genuine than 100 people comes out to whatever event you have only because you got free food and drinks, and then not buying anything that you have. That's a lot more. That's not going to be anything. That's not going to do anything. So respect the slow process, because on the other side of things, if you decide to switch your business model and go from selling car batteries to now you want to start your own car dealership, those people that were with you when you were selling car batteries are more than likely going to be with you when you sell your car or sell cars and many other things in the future.
And look at that, we almost ended on time. It's 7:30, and I just want to give my last thank you to the people who actually helped put this film together. So I want to say thank you to National Association of Black Journalists. This is the 3rd grant that they've given me, so they've been supporting me for a minute. I've known about them since college, so I really appreciate them. The Zuckerberg initiative, that's, Facebook, so that's big right there. I really want to give a huge shout out to Eric McCambridge. He is in California, but he is another great talent that came from this state of Wisconsin who didn't feel like he got a lot of support, but he has done 85 to 90% of Carvd N Stone's interviews and our video work. So we got to go on the Pfizer Forum in 2019 for 4 hours and interview the senior VP, and I didn't pay him for that. He was like, you put me on, I'm gonna put you on, and so he helped me, he helped co-direct this, he got the crew for me, so I wanna give him a huge shout out. Shout out to Heather Clark for doing the sound, Sam Rogers, Tyler Gammuth for filming it, Cassidy for doing the graphic design, like I said earlier, and then my family and friends, so Jarrell, my mom, my granny, my dad, Alice, Donte, my brother Rodell, my sister Brianna. Oh, my journalism student here, hey girl. Hey y'all. So I really appreciate everybody for coming. If you haven't already, we do have merchandise. So support small businesses. Shirts are $25. We have pins for $7. If you don't want to do that, we have a thing where you can scan and donate. I do still got to pay some people for the crew. So I really do appreciate you all for coming. And to the people watching on live, thank you so much. And in the end, everything will be Carvd N Stone.